Whenever someone asks me what my favorite game is, there's always a certain game that comes to my mind. This game has held a special place in my heart since I first heard about it years ago. It's one of the more unique concepts for a game I've heard of, and as a big fan of the strategy genre, it's right up my alley. Despite not having put a significant amount of hours into it, as compared to other games in my library, it's a game I've enjoyed just as much, if not more, than the games I've put thousands of hours into. Now, what is this game, you're probably wondering? Well, I couldn't think of something cool to write here, so cue epic title screen music. Carrier Command 2, developed by Geometa and published by Microprose, is a real-time strategy game that puts you at the helm of a semi-autonomous aircraft carrier, capable of launching remote-controlled aircraft and land vehicles. The gameplay involves you traveling around an archipelagic world, capturing islands which help supply your carrier, with an end goal of sinking what is essentially a copy of the carrier that you're piloting that's been hacked by a terrorist organization to try to take over the planet or something to that effect. This concept, taken from the original game Carrier Command, released in 1988, is one of the most unique out there, and I have no idea why there aren't any similar games out there. The first time I heard about Carrier Command 2, I was instantly hooked, and when I was finally able to get some friends together to try it, we had an amazing time. Although limited at first, you do get quite a few different tools to use in this campaign, as you can customize the loadouts of the vehicles you send out with a bunch of different turret and ammo types and various other attachments. There are options for single player and multiplayer, however I would highly recommend multiplayer as the difficulty curve turns into a difficulty brick wall in single player. In my opinion, it's just way too hard to manage all the various systems as time goes on. I mean, there's 9 chairs on the bridge, and somehow one person is supposed to handle all these different things? Sure, not impossible, but way too stressful for me, personally. That being said, the sweet spot is probably around 3 to 5 people. Any more than that, and you end up having people kinda just sitting around watching and waiting for things to happen, although more people would certainly speed up the campaign a bit. Alternatively, you can run a PvP campaign, replacing the AI carrier with another player-controlled carrier, which I've never tried but seems very fun. I can't say that I'm great at hyping up games, but hopefully the combination of my best effort to describe the gameplay loop and the background gameplay footage at least piques your interest. This won't be the last time I'll say it, but I very highly recommend you at least give Carrier Command 2 a try. The fun of this game really shines through when you get a chance to actually take control of the ship and use the various consoles to manage supply lines and vehicle loadouts and etc, etc. Beyond the gameplay itself, the visual design of Carrier Command 2 is unlike any other, in my opinion. Well, besides another game called Stormworks Build and Rescue, but that's Geometa's other game, so that doesn't count. It's a great mix of retro and futuristic, and they don't try to overdo it with crazy shaders and ray tracing and insert gaming buzzwords here. And the soundtrack as well. Amazing. Fits the vibe of Carrier Command 2 perfectly, I'd say. I've been playing some of the soundtrack in the background, but I'll stop talking for a second so you can really hear it. Now, this is around the point of the video where I would tell you about the things that I don't like about Carrier Command 2, and why I can't honestly tell you that this game is my favorite video game, maybe not even top 5. I actually wrote a whole other script for this video already and scrapped it, mainly because when it came to this part, I wasn't happy with how I presented Carrier Command 2 as a whole. I felt like it went against what I was trying to do with making this video in the first place. One of my main goals for this video, and content creation in general, is to share games that I think are just overall good games. And I want to encourage you to try out Carrier Command 2, not pass on it because of some negative thoughts I have after playing the game. On the other hand, I do want to be transparent about Carrier Command 2's shortcomings, hopefully without dissuading you from trying it out for yourself. Almost any adult with a full-time job can relate to the struggle of having such limited free time and having way too many things that they want to do with it. Even worse, any activity with friends can be difficult to schedule, as everyone will likely have different days and times that they're free, and lining up an extended amount of time can be difficult at best. For Carrier Command 2, this is one of my main gripes, as completing a campaign will be a significant time investment. For a single-player game, that's usually not an issue, but as I mentioned before, multiplayer is probably the best way to play Carrier Command 2, and syncing up schedules with 3 to 5 people or more is pretty difficult, to put it mildly. Unless you're still in school and have tons of free time because you're on summer or winter break, or don't have a job or whatever, in which case all I can say is I'm so extremely jealous of you and enjoy it while it lasts. That being said, contrary to modern gaming culture, I firmly believe you can pick up Carrier Command 2 and only play it for 10 to 20 hours or so, and it would still be a worthwhile purchase. It's only $30 US, and while it is a great sense of accomplishment to finish a campaign, I don't really think you need to finish one to be able to say you enjoyed playing Carrier Command 2. Think about it, if finishing a game in its entirety was the determining factor in your enjoyment of it, you wouldn't be able to enjoy nearly as many games in your life. It seems like games nowadays expect you to commit 30 plus hours to complete them at a casual pace. Sorry for the tangent, but really, when you think about it, expecting such a large time commitment is crazy. Or maybe I'm crazy. It's a breath of fresh air when a game like Stray comes along, with only 5 to 10 hours of time needed to experience everything. Anyways, I won't dwell on this whole time commitment thing too long, as that's a topic for another video probably. But what I'm trying to say is, you don't need to sink a ton of hours into Carrier Command 2 to get enjoyment out of it, although how much time you need to take to decide whether you enjoy the game or not is up to you. Carrier Command 2 is one of those games that will have time move faster than you think when you really get into it, so it should be pretty easy to get to that 10 or 20 hour mark. To summarize things, I really can't recommend Carrier Command 2 enough, so if you can, please do me a favor and try it out for yourself. Worst case scenario, you get a couple hours in, decide you don't like it, and refund it. I don't think that's a likely outcome though, as I've said before. Carrier Command 2 is a great game, despite its various flaws. If you do end up enjoying it, please come back to this video and let me know. Apologies for such a short video, by the way. I was kind of rushing to get this one out before my vacation, although I have had like a year to make this one. Whoops. Well, anyways, thanks for watching, like and subscribe and all that, and I'll see you next time.